Do you think squats are the best lower body exercise? This is actually one of those endless debates in the gym. Some people argue that squats are truly the king of lower body exercises, while others question whether it's worth risking back injuries just to do them. What is going on YouTube? This is Johan Kim, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about squats. Let me start this video with this question. Do you think squats are the best lower body exercise? This is actually one of those endless debates in the gym. Some people argue that squats are truly the king of lower body exercises, while others question whether it's worth risking back injuries just to do them. Supporters of squats say there's no other exercise that activates the lower body muscles as effectively. It engages your thighs, glutes, and core all at once. So if you're looking for a time-efficient exercise, nothing beats the squat. Plus, they say that squatting helps with functional movements you use in everyday life. It not only builds strength, but also improves balance, which is why they believe it's the ultimate lower body exercise. But the opposing side has some strong arguments too. They claim squats can be risky, particularly for back injuries, which could lead to serious issues if done improperly. And they also argue that when it comes to muscle hypertrophy, there's not much difference between squats and machine exercises. And they say machine exercises can be more effective than squats, while the machines offer the safety of a controlled movement path, reducing injury risks. Throughout my fitness journey, I've consistently done squats and learned a lot in the process. Today, I want to share my thoughts on squats based on that experience. First, I think whether squats are a good choice or not depends on your personal goals. For example, if your goal is powerlifting, squats are a must. Since squats are one of the main lifts in powerlifting, it's obvious that you should focus on them. But my goal is a bit different. I'm more focused on hypertrophy. So, I try to structure my training to maximize hypertrophy as effectively as possible. And the key point here is that you don't have to be limited to squats. If there's another exercise that's better for hypertrophy, it would make more sense to choose that instead. So today, let's dive deeper into the hypertrophic aspects of squats. And we'll talk about how effective squats are for hypertrophy, how they compare to other exercises, and what you should be careful about when doing squats. First, let's talk about the risks of squatting. No matter how good an exercise is for muscle growth, if the risk of injury is too high, it's not a good choice. You always need to weigh the pros and cons. So, the question is, are squats really that dangerous? In my personal opinion, the risk of squats depends on the experience and skill level of the person performing them. I've mentioned this before in a video about deadlifts, and if you're interested, you can check the link above. The causes of squat-related injuries can be broken down into three main categories. The first is improper form. I actually believe this is the root cause of almost all injuries. The barbell back squat is a much more complex exercise than it might seem. You have to consider the movement of your ankles, knees, and hips, the alignment of your spine, your breathing, mobility, and how to stabilize the barbell on your back all at once. Squats can vary greatly depending on an individual's body structure, and it takes time for beginners to fully understand and safely perform these detailed aspects. That's why many injuries happen when people push themselves too hard before mastering the movement. However, if squats are performed safely with appropriate weights, I don't think the injury risk is particularly high. So, if you're a beginner and feel pain while squatting, I recommend checking your form and technique first before blaming the exercise itself. The second cause of injury is using excessively heavy weights. This ties in with the first reason, where people often hurt themselves by attempting weights that aren't appropriate for them, either because they want to accelerate muscle growth quickly or because they want to impress others at the gym before they've properly learned safe form. The truth is, lifting weights beyond your level increases the risk of injury, not just in squats, but in any exercise. However, squats can be particularly dangerous because if your breathing falters or your hip or spinal alignment breaks down, it can lead to serious injuries. When I first started squatting, I also tried to lift weights that weren't suitable for my level because I didn't want to appear weak. The weight was too heavy, so my range of motion naturally decreased, and instead of properly stimulating my muscles, I was pushing my body with poor form just to lift the weight. Back then, I had a lot of minor injuries, and my muscles didn't grow well either. Plus, the more experienced people at the gym probably knew I was just messing around. Using weights beyond your level only leads to injury and poor form. So, I highly recommend training with weights you can control. The last cause of injury is the lack of safety measures. This applies to everyone, from beginners to experts, and it comes down to personal choice. I strongly advise using safety bars when squatting. Unlike machine exercises, squats don't have built-in safety mechanisms, so if you suddenly need to drop the weight, you could seriously injure your back. Never underestimate the importance of setting up safety bars before starting your workout. Now let's consider whether squats are superior to machine exercises in terms of hypertrophy. Personally, I believe that if your goal is to maximize leg size, the best approach is to combine free weight barbell squats with machine exercises. However, if I had to choose between barbell back squats and machine exercises, I honestly think something like the hack squat might be more effective for hypertrophy. The first reason is that machine exercises require less core stabilization than barbell squats. One of the benefits of barbell squats is that they engage the core and allow you to train your core muscles simultaneously. However, this can also be a drawback, especially for bodybuilders who need to push their legs close to failure with full range of motion. It can be really challenging to maintain core stability throughout the later stages of a set. On the other hand, with machine exercises, the pads and fixed trajectory mean less core involvement and allow you to push your legs closer to failure with less risk of injuries. The second reason is that machine exercises allow you to target specific muscles in the lower body with more precision. While squats can be adjusted to focus on the quadriceps with front squats or on the glutes and hamstrings with back squats, machines are unbeatable for isolating muscle groups. For example, leg extensions are great for the quads, and leg curls are ideal for the hamstrings, and you can do these safely and effectively. For these reasons, if your goal is to maximize hypertrophy, choosing machine exercises over squats might be the better decision. In my own experience, when I included hack squats and leg presses in my routine, I noticed hypertrophy similar to, or even greater than, what I achieved with squats alone. Plus, I felt less psychological pressure about the risk of injury, and it allows me to train more freely. That's why, before I switched to a low-frequency, high-intensity training program, I always included machine squats, and I would still prioritize machine exercises if my focus was more on lower body hypertrophy. These are some of the downsides of squats. After hearing all this, you might wonder if there's any reason to do squats, right? But despite these concerns, I still continue to squat, and I want to explain why. The reason I still squat is because of the freedom it offers. Squats are a free weight exercise, which allows you to train in a way that feels most natural for your body. Sure, machine exercises are great too, but small differences in angles can make them uncomfortable for your body, and the equipment varies from gym to gym. If you travel or switch gyms often, the changes in resistance and range of motion make it hard to maintain consistency in your training. But squats can be done in almost any gym, and you can find the angles that work best for you, which is why I prefer them. Learning to squat does take time, but once you master the movement, I think there's no exercise that feels as satisfying. It's like a custom suit. Off-the-rack clothes are convenient, but they might not fit perfectly. A custom suit takes time to make, but once it's done, it fits your body perfectly and feels comfortable. Squats are the same. Once you master the technique, you can perform them safely, and sometimes they provide even better stimulation than machines. The second reason is that I do full body workouts twice a week, so my options for exercises are limited. With this approach, I can only do 1 or 2 exercises per muscle group, so I chose squats because I've been doing them for a long time, and they feel comfortable, like a custom suit. And also, I mentioned that it's really difficult to target individual muscles with squats, but the difficulty of targeting individual muscles becomes an advantage for me. As I can train multiple muscles simultaneously, it makes squats the perfect choice for my routine. Lastly, and most importantly, I enjoy squatting. I think people often overlook how important enjoyment is just as much as safety and efficiency. Enjoyment keeps you motivated and consistent. Exercise is already challenging, and it puts stress on your body, so if you don't enjoy it, it's hard to stick with it. But if you find an exercise you enjoy, it motivates you and helps you stay consistent with your training. For me, squats are one of those exercises. So even if squats come with some risks and may not be the best choice for hypertrophy, I'll keep doing them because I love them. I used to believe that there were exercises everyone had to do, and that any exercise with even the slightest inefficiency should be avoided. But my thinking has changed a lot since then. Choosing your exercises should depend on your personal goals, circumstances, and even preferences. So for those of you watching this video, I encourage you to consider your own goals, circumstances, and preferences when deciding whether or not to include squats in your program. The choice is always yours. And in my opinion, even if squats are a bit challenging, they teach you a lot in the process and strengthen your core stability. So I recommend giving them a try. Anyway, that's it for today. See you in the next video.